Hello students, this is Amardeep Singh, your computer teacher, and today we are going to continue with the same chapter, formulas, functions and charts. And in this third lecture, we'll discuss about two inbuilt functions, sum and SUMIF function. So let's begin with the sum function. Sum function is similar to the auto sum option available in MS Excel. That auto sum feature is also make use of this function to perform calculation, to add the numbers. So sum function is used to add all numbers in a specified range of cells. And according to syntax, we can specify numbers or we can specify cell references, and maximum number of arguments that we can pass into the function is starting from 0 to or starting from 1 to 255. Here we are having function sum. So let's start how we can use this function in Excel. So here we are having again list of subjects and their obtained marks, and the students list and their roll numbers, and I want to calculate sum of the marks belongs to a particular students. So if you want to calculate sum, then except auto sum option, we can directly make use of sum function. So what you all have to do, click on formula tab, then click auto sum option, then more functions are there. This one is the one way. When you will click more functions, it will show you this dialog, and when you will click first, it will show you the most recently used function. If you will press all, then it will show you all functions available in Excel. So in Excel we are having hundreds of functions, inbuilt functions to perform different type of calculations. So I want to use some function. So in this search text box, we just have to type sum, then press enter or click on go. Then it will show you the function name start with sum. Then you can choose sum and click OK. So this one is the one way to choose sum function. For example, when you will press OK, then a dialog will be here. In this dialog, in this cell, you will be able to specify the range of the cells that you want to calculate the sum. For example, I want to calculate sum of starting from C2 cell to E2 cell. So I will specify C2, then E2. Then it will calculate the sum. Now you can see that here the system is also displaying values available in this range like 88, 55 and 85 and this cell. And if you don't want to type here, then you can also select from here. Then when you will, after selection, when you will release the mouse button, it will automatically add a range. Then when you will press OK, then it will show you the sum of the values. So this one is the one way to use sum function. Then another way to use the sum function is click on formulas, and here we are having categorize or categories of functions also. So in these buttons, these are the shortcut buttons, and if you want to use these buttons to perform mathematical or to perform sum, then just click on this button. Here we are having math, because sum is a math function, then you have to click on this function, and here we are having all math functions available. In this list, you have to scroll down and choose the sum function. Let's suppose we are having here, and before this you have to place the cursor in that particular text box, then press on select. Then the same dialog will be here, and you can select the range, and after that you have to click OK. So this one is another way. And if you don't want to use these dialogues to calculate sum, then you can also directly type sum function. If you people are having knowledge of the syntax of sum function, then you can also use this. So if you want to use like this, then all you have to do, click press equal, then write the name of function sum. So here we are having list of functions starting with the name sum. So I want to use this one. Then after sum you have to start around brackets, and it will show you the list of arguments that the syntax of that function that you can use. So in this, in these brackets, you can specify, you can drag from here to here, or you can specify write the manual range, like I'll specify this like this. So if you don't want to use this dragging feature, then you can also use write C2 colon G2, and after specifying the range, you have to close the bracket and press enter. So this one is another way to use sum function. In the same way, you can use any of the function. So uh, to perform some kind of calculation. Let's suppose in previous lecture we discussed about max function, maximum. So max function, we use that function to find the maximum value from within this given range using this option available in auto sum feature. But you can also make use of you can also call the max function by typing equal then max, and here we are having the function name max, then start the bracket, then select the range and close the bracket, press enter. So if you people are having knowledge of about the syntax of a function and how to use that function, so instead of finding or searching function from the list available in this section, you can directly type the name of function if you are having knowledge and about the syntax. Let's suppose I want to calculate average. So I'll specify equal, and when you will press AVE and it will select the functions. Here we are having average function, and double click this, then start curly bracket, then select the range and close the round bracket and press enter. So this one is another way to call or make use of a function, inbuilt function available in MS Excel. So that was the way how we can use some function of MS Excel or any other function in the same way by directly typing. Let's suppose I want to type here like equal sum, then a round bracket start, then select the range, then round bracket close, then press enter. So after specifying, after calling that function once, then you can drag and copy the same function to another cell also. So that is all about how we can use some function and any other function in MS Excel if you are having knowledge of the syntax of that function. Next, we'll discuss about SUMIF function available in Excel. As the name suggests, SUMIF function is used to perform calculation on the behalf of a given condition, or you can say criteria. So if you want to perform calculation on the behalf of condition, then you can use SUMIF function instead of using SUM function. This function contains three parameters: range, criteria, and sum range. So first we'll discuss about range. This is a required parameter and a group of adjacent cell on which we want to perform calculations. So first parameter decide the range of cell on which we want to perform the calculations, and next we are having criteria. Criteria means condition. So it's also a required parameter, and criteria is an expression where we can use comparison operators. Comparison operator means to define a condition we have to use a comparison operator like a greater than, equal to, less than equal to, not equal to define a condition. So that means a criteria is a condition where we can define the condition on the behalf of which we want to perform the calculations. And the third one is sum range. Third parameter is an optional parameter. These are the actual cells to be added if their corresponding cell in the range match the criteria. So that means the criteria is defined on the behalf of this cell, and the after the, if the condition is fulfilled defined in the criteria, then the system will perform calculation on this range, on the cell available in this range. If you, as we have discussed that it's an optional argument. So if you will avoid passing this argument, then system will perform calculation on this range. So first we'll discuss about uh, how we can use these first two parameters, and after that we will discuss about how we can use this third parameters. So first we will discuss about only first two parameter, range and criteria. So let's begin with the an example. So here we are having a list of items and their quantities and serial numbers, and first of all we'll discuss how we can use sum if a function with the first two parameters only, the range and the criteria. So we have to decide a situation on the behalf of which we want to calculate the sum. So system will calculate, if you will perform sum, then that mm, sum, normal sum function, sum, then I'll choose the range and press it. Then it will calculate the sum of all the items available in this list. But I want to calculate the sum of the values only if the value is greater than or equal to 3. So if the value is 3 or greater than 3, then I want to calculate the sum. So I'll remove this function. So let's start sum if, then here I am using directly by typing the sum function manually, or you can also use this function is also available in that here in formula tab also, in this more functions also, but I first will use this by using this mechanism. So sum if, then select the range, then after selecting the range, then next we will specify the condition, the criteria. Here you can also see that second parameter is criteria. So inside criteria you always have to specify criteria inside double quotes. So start the double quotes, as we have decided that we want to calculate sum of only the values greater than or equal to 3. So that means I will specify greater than equal 3. So that means system will calculate the sum of only those values which are greater than or equal to 3. That means 3 or greater than 3. So, and the last parameter is optional parameter, and we'll discuss in next example also. So in first example we are going to use only first two parameters, and close the bracket and press enter. Now you can see the answer is 10. So here we are having 3 plus 4, 7 plus 3, 10. So that means system uh, this function didn't add these values like 1 to 1 to like this. So the sum here we are having is only uh, from the values greater than or equal to 3. So this one is the way how we can use. You can also make use of that dialog if you want to use to perform the same activity, like press auto sum, more functions, just type sum if, then here we are having function sum if, then click OK, and in this range and criteria is here. So click inside the range and select the range, and here you are having range, then criteria you have to specify like greater than or equal to 3, then press OK, and you can also check that the result uh, is here, is displaying here before pressing OK also. So just press OK. So here we are having sum. So this one is an example how we can use sum is function with first two arguments, and in next example we'll discuss about third argument also. So next let's discuss how we can use a sum if function by specifying all the three arguments. So here we have to decide a situation. Let's suppose I want to calculate the sum of quantities belongs to hard disk item only. So I'll specify hard disk, and in this cell I want to calculate the sum of the values belongs to hard disk only. Sum of the quantities. Let's suppose here we are having hard disk and 3. Here we are having hard disk and 2. I want to calculate the sum of this 3 and 2 values only belongs to hard disk. So uh, in when you will use some function, first I'll specify by using manually uh, sum if, then range. In this case, when you will use three arguments, then the first range is used to specify the values on which the criteria will be specified, then comma equal to hard disk. You have to specify same spellings, then comma. Next, we have to specify the range of the values on which we want to perform the calculations in this one. So, if you will avoid third argument, then system will perform calculation on first argument, that means on range. But if you will specify the third argument, then system will perform calculation on the third argument, uh, the range defined as the third argument, and first argument is used to check the criteria with the help of this value. So now you can see here we are having value 5, that means hard disk 2 plus 3 5. So this one is the way. If you want to make use of that dialog to perform this calculation, then you can also use that to select the cell and auto sum, more options, then type sum if function, then press OK. Then here we are having the function, select the function and press OK. And inside the range you have to select the cell, then criteria means here I'm specifying equal to hard hard disk. Then next, if you want to use equal operator, you can also avoid this operator, but make it a habit to specify that operator also. Then sum range, that means we want to perform sum in this range. So when you will press OK, then here we are having result. Then after that, if you want to perform sum on another item, then select the cell. Here we are having cell. If you want to edit some function after calling that function, then you can select the cell, and in the formula bar you can make editing hard disk. I want to perform on mouse, or you can say monitor, then press enter. Then monitor 1, monitor 3, 1 plus 3 equal to 4. So this one is the way how we can use sum if function with 2 arguments or with 3 arguments. So that is all about how we can use sum if function. So that is all about the present session and inbuilt functions also. So we are having number of functions, hundreds of functions available in MS Excel. So if you want to use any of those functions, then the same procedure you have to follow. You can make use of the function dialog, or you can also write that function inside the cell by using equal operator directly. So that's all about the present session. If you people are having any kind of doubt related to any function or any formula,